Alright guys, I'm here at ShopRite in Branchburg. I don't know if they're going to let me film while in there. If I get kicked out of here, I gotta drive a little bit further to get food. I'm going to go in and get my groceries, and I'll explain to you guys afterwards why I get what I get.
Welcome to PricePlow.
Alright, what's up PricePlow Nation? Today we're going to be doing a little bit of a different video. I don't think anyone else has done this on PricePlow before, so I'm excited to be a part of it. Today I'm going to talk to you a little bit about, on a normal grocery haul, what are a few key items that I will definitely bring home. I'm going to start with first thing in the morning and work my way through the day in my diet. Right out of bed, I will obviously drink water. I'm usually pretty dehydrated. I sweat a lot when I sleep. I'll drink some water with apple cider vinegar first thing in the morning. After that, I move on to a kefir. I don't really try to obsess too much over digestion because we really don't understand gut biome as much as some influencers would like to tell you otherwise. But what I do believe in is getting in probiotics from whole foods. Chris Gethin talks a lot about this with fermented foods, but I'm a big kefir fan. Sometimes I'll take a probiotic pill, but I have found that if I drink a half bottle or a full bottle of Wallaby Organic kefir in the morning, I don't have a lot of problems with digestion, especially if it's during a higher calorie time when I might have acid reflux or just a problem digesting all of the food that I'm putting in my body. One of the reasons that I start off with just straight water and kefir is I really don't have much of an appetite in the morning. So maybe half hour after digesting those, I'll jump into my real breakfast, and that will be subject to change with how hungry I am and how much time I have. If I have time to sit down, I'll usually throw 4 ounces of ground beef or turkey if that was cheaper, but I prefer to have beef for most of my meals in a pan. I'll throw 4 whole eggs over that 4 ounces of beef and consume that together with some sort of bread. Now today I went with English muffins just because honestly the cinnamon raisin just really looked good to me. It could be potato rolls, bread, Ezekiel bread, I'm a big fan of that. Usually just whatever fits in the budget, what catches my eye. I'm a power lifter, so I don't have to really worry about my physique too much. But also, if I'm working very hard, I'll put the extra carbs in my body, I'll put something that tastes good in my body. I don't really mind that much. If I don't have time to really sit down, a trick that I picked up a while ago from Antoine Vaillant and Frank McGrath was different versions of things with oats. So oats are really versatile. You can throw them in a little Tupperware, add some whey protein and some milk and some peanut butter, microwave it, and you'll have an easy meal. Sometimes what I'll do is add egg whites, maybe 1 whole egg and a cup of oats. You can tailor that around to what macros you're looking for your meal, but oats are a very, very easy, versatile food to change your breakfast around with. The nice thing is you can put it in Tupperware. You can prepare it the night before, the morning of, Tupperware it up, take it to your office and microwave it there if they have a microwave available, or you can just cook it and leave it there. It's going to be good for a couple hours. So that's breakfast. After breakfast, I'll move on to my main meals of the day, which are going to be mainly a red meat and white rice. I get that from Stand Efforting's vertical diet. It's basically based around easily digestible foods and putting as much food in your body as possible to fuel performance. It's not really a bodybuilder diet because it's much more based on performance, but it can be easily translated into a bikini diet, a physique diet, anything of that sort, because you're putting easily digestible food into your body, making sure that you have low levels of inflammation and you're driving as much nutrients through your body as possible. You can make it for a cutting diet, or you can use it to put weight on. So either a red ground beef, a bison, which is my favorite but obviously kind of cost prohibitive, or I'll do a steak. I like top round or sirloin, throw it on the grill, it's really easy. What I have found is that if you're eating 5-6 meals a day, if you make too many of those steak, you're gonna be chewing a lot. Jaw pumps are just not fun when you're getting them 3-4 times a day. So I'll usually ask them to grind it up, or if it's too expensive, I'll just pick up 80-20 or 85-15 ground beef. For the rice portion, most of the time I'll just pick up 5 pounds of jasmine rice, throw it in my rice cooker, and not worry about it. However, probably once every other week I like to pick up Uncle Ben's ready rice. They're usually 3 for $5. It doesn't really break the bank for me, and if I'm on the go, like I was mentioning for breakfast, it's really easy to brown a whole bunch of ground beef for a couple of days and throw these in a bag. Wherever I go, I can heat these up 90 seconds, throw them in the Tupperware, eat it quickly. Now, rice does get old, so every here and there I will swap in potatoes, sweet potatoes or white potatoes, doesn't really matter to me. One of the reasons I don't use too many potatoes though is they're very satiating for me. If I'm trying to drive as much food through my body as possible, I don't want to be full all the time. That being said, if you have ever been to Texas Roadhouse, you know how good a great potato with salt and butter on it is. So I can't deny that, and every here and there I'll throw it in at the end of the day to make sure I'm full to go to sleep. Sometimes I'll use it pre-workout to make sure that my stomach feels a little bit more full. If I'm squatting or benching, I'd like to be full. Deadlifting is a different story. I don't want to throw up while deadlifting. Now, alongside those meals, most people will ask me, what about fruits, what about vegetables? My two vegetables that I like to throw in are spinach and baby carrots. They're easy, they contain a lot of micronutrients, and they don't fill me up too much. I can always throw in a handful of carrots, like Stan Efferding always puts with his meals, and I can always steam spinach, microwave it, or what I like to do is when I'm meal prepping and I put my rice in the rice cooker, there's a top deck to my rice cooker that I'll throw baby spinach in, and sometimes I'll throw balls of beef on top of the spinach. Cooks all together, and it takes care of a few meals in one go. Alongside these meals, anyone who has watched a fit chick on Instagram knows that avocados are great. I'll throw a whole avocado in with a meal, salt it, it's good to go. You can cube it and eat them. I like to mash it up and throw it in with the rice. It just becomes one big meal, and it's easy to shovel. Now, next to the kefir, I have two things that if you know me, you know why I have them here. Chocolate milk is something that I got from when I was being coached by Brandon Lilly, the writer of the Cube Method. Now, Brandon is an old West Side guy, so when it comes to gaining weight, he does not care about abs. I personally do like to still look like I lift, but this is one of the easiest ways to get calories in for myself. I have two different chocolate milks here depending on what kind of caloric intake you have. Honestly, when I went from 242 up into the 275 class, I'm sitting at 260 right now, but when I was really trying to gain weight, I would drink, as per Brandon's prescription for it, a half a gallon of chocolate milk every single day. Now, some of you anti-dairy people probably just gasp at me, but honestly, I digest dairy very, very well. It does not bother my stomach. I'm not lactose intolerant in the least, and it's just an easy way for me to get calories in. At the end of the night, I can chug half of one of those, a full one of those while watching Netflix, and it does not bother my body at all. Now, if I am watching my waist a little bit, Fairlife is reduced sugar, a little bit higher in protein, and just all around a little bit cleaner. Some people might, put it in a couple different glasses throughout the day, but for me, like I said, at the end of the day, I'll chug one of these down. It's kind of a fun fact. When I was on my way up from 200 through the 220s-ish, during my really bulking days, I would leave one of these on my bedside table, usually the full fat and sugar chocolate milk from ShopRite. I'd leave it on my bedside table, and anytime I woke up, because if you are a large man, you know that we have sleep apnea, which I have since fixed, but at the time I didn't know about. Anytime I woke up, my coach at the time had me have the rule that I would have to drink as much as I could before I fell back asleep. I gained a lot of weight during that time, and it might not have been good weight, but these are all trials and errors on finding out what works for you. Now I know how to eat a lot, how to drive performance through food, and not become a fat slob. Now, at the end of the day, most bodybuilders who have done that old school bro diet know about cottage cheese. It's all like casein protein, pretty much, slow digesting. The fat in it, because I get low fat, the fat in it will slow down digestion while delivering good protein throughout the night for you. And I'll get the pineapple in here. Sometimes I'll add in strawberries for extra sweetness to it, because honestly, cottage cheese does not taste good. It's very, very easy for me. A whole one of these before bed. Gets 44 grams of protein in. It's just easy calories for me, and it tastes good while I'm working, watching Netflix, or whatever. It's the end of the night. Now, for all of you Rich Piana fans, you'll know that he was a big Ben & Jerry's fan. Now, I'm not saying I do this every night, but if my diet's going well, if I'm maybe stalling on weight gain, if I'm feeling a little bit smaller, or whatever it is, I'm not afraid to throw in more food. And one of these is a treat the night before a big training session, or after a very, very big training session, you guys will find that the harder you train, the more you can tolerate some dirtier calories. And this is something that Mike and I are going to be talking about a lot more in here, is that training hard and eating for performance go hand in hand. Now, this is not something I do every day, but if I'm training hard, if everything's going well, and I need an extra push, I don't think that people should be afraid to throw in some extra food into their diet and enjoy it. I do a lot of this very, very competitively, but at the same time, I enjoy the food that I intake. As a powerlifter, as a strength athlete, I don't need to be that masochistic to myself. So yes, usually on Friday, Saturday nights, I will enjoy some Ben & Jerry's, and I really don't regret it because I squat heavy on some of this. So there you have it. This is a pretty easy haul for me. I might do grocery shopping once a week or twice a week. I don't like to prep too much in advance because I like to cook fresh. I like to eat fresh meals, and I think the stuff that has been frozen for too long just gets stale. It doesn't taste that great. So I'll do this probably twice a week, and it'll last me a couple days. Every here and there I'll change things up. I'll throw in steak instead of ground beef. I'll throw in potato rolls instead of English muffins. Sometimes I'll do strawberries instead of pineapple in my cottage cheese. But for the most part, these guys are all staples for me. So that's that. If you have any questions, feel free to comment below. Let me know what your big staples are. I'll have my Instagram in the description, as well as PricePlows, where I can answer all of your questions. I'm gonna have a lot more content coming out like this, so if you have any questions, anything you wanna see, let me know. Thanks so much, guys.
Welcome to PricePlow.